What should LeBron be most frustrated about right now?
Defensively, they can't stop anybody. And listen, I'm somebody that's incredibly fond of Luke Walton. And I sincerely hope that it works out for him. I've spoken to him on many occasions. I've known him a little bit for years. Obviously, I love his father, Daly, who I used to work with here at ESPN. But he was not hired by Magic Johnson and Rob Pelinka. He's going to need to show that he can coach this team, get some defense going. They don't stop anybody when it counts. That's problematic. That's number one. Number two, they don't have a scoring point guard. And in today's NBA game, you need a scoring point guard. It's just that simple. You need a point guard that can put the ball in a hole. I have lamented on many occasions, Max, how I want Lonzo Ball aggressive. I never attacked his game. I never said he was a scrub or anything like that. He obviously needed to improve his shot. And for the first few games this year, he was shooting like 42% from three-point range, which obviously was a vast improvement. But when I look at it, he's gotten bigger. He clearly could pass the ball. He has a high basketball intellect. But with him and Rondo, here's the reality. You've got to be able to put the ball in the hole from the perimeter in order for you to be formidable as a point guard in the National Basketball Association in this day and age. You cannot be devoid of scoring ability from outside, and it's a problem. Now, there are some people that have said to me, Brandon Ingram should be the point guard, Max. They actually went that far. I don't think his handle is good enough. He can pass, and he can play. But I don't think his handle is good enough in terms of his playmaking ability from that position, and I don't think his perimeter shot is reliable enough. I'm not saying he can't make jumpers. I'm saying that he doesn't customarily stroke the ball.
Well, he don't shoot the three anyway.
He doesn't stroke the ball in a fashion that makes you say, go ahead and take those outside shots. We're comfortable with it. That's my problem. That's why I believe he should be coming off the bench and Kuzma should be starting. That's my personal opinion. But in the end, the two things that are most flagrant about the Los Angeles Lakers right now is their play at the point guard spot in terms of perimeter shooting and their inability defensively to get stops when they desperately need it. They've been in all of these games. They've been in all of them. I mean, they lost thrillers. They've had leads in the last 2 minutes or so, and then all of a sudden they can't get a stop and they collapse. That has got to change, and if it doesn't, knowing Magic Johnson the way that I do, it's going to take a look at Luke Walton. So Luke Walton's got to shore that up.
What LeBron should be most frustrated with so far is he doesn't have a crime partner on this team. And by that, listen, Brandon Ingram can do his thing. They have some nice players. But as I said earlier in the show, there is no one, including Brandon Ingram, on this team who at any point in their career will win an MVP other than LeBron James. There's no MVP. Brandon Ingram looks like if everything works out, maybe he could be Paul George, which would be incredible. That's not an MVP player. It's just not. There are levels to this, as Meek Mill said. And that's the reason he doesn't have a crime partner, is because while the Lakers have drafted high up in a bunch of drafts, they've missed on every number 2 pick. If you're picking second in the draft, you need a superstar. Brandon Ingram is the one where you go, maybe they didn't miss. Maybe he can at least be a perennial all-star one day, although the day is not today. D'Angelo Russell, second overall pick. Kristaps Porzingis went 4th. Lonzo Ball, second overall pick. You know who you want with the second overall pick? Like
Jason
Tatum, maybe, who went 3rd. I've mentioned Brandon Ingram. You have hopes for him. Now, they've offset that by getting those guys that I just mentioned. They're like the 6th or the 8th pick in the draft. If you do it that way, you go, okay. But when they picked their 7th, Julius Randle, he's not on the team. They just let him go. He wasn't good enough that you were like, yes, we must keep this guy. They've compensated because the 28th pick was Kyle Kuzma, right? They traded Josh Hart, who was a 30th pick in the draft. And those guys are also like 6 or 8 type picks, right? But they have a bunch of players like that, nice players, but no other superstar. And Stephen A., LeBron James is not going to bump off a Golden State Warriors team that not only has played together for years now and has won multiple championships and has multiple All-Stars, but has 2 MVPs. Steph Curry and KD are MVP level. Clay is a perennial all-star. Draymond Green is a perennial all-star. LeBron James now has a bunch of rotation pieces and even some starters, but no other real crime partner, and that's what he needs.
A couple of things. First of all, this is the number 2 ranked offense in the National Basketball Association at this particular moment in time, number 1. Number 2, they got 7 players. I'm looking at the numbers right here. They got 7 players averaging in double figures. I will tell you.
Nice players.
That's right. And in terms of 2-point field goal percentage, they rank number 2 in the NBA as well. 3-point shooting, Max, 24th. So that raises a red flag because, again, you're not going to be. Jimmy Butler beat them last night by hitting threes. That's how he beat them last
They
night.
need defense and threes.
He showed
3 and
up
D.
defense and threes. That's what this comes down to. LeBron James is shooting 24% from three-point range. I don't think that's going to last, but he needs to up that. And I'm going to say it again. Josh Hart and Kyle Kuzma need to be starting for this
By the way, no doubt.
team.
You know who else? You know who the offense worked with better yesterday than it did when Rondo was in? With Lonzo Ball. I have to say something.
sure about that.
Lonzo Ball's effect on the team when he's on the floor has been better than I thought it would be early.